Johnny Bass. Respect for Bob Marley, yeah. Thank you so much. so much. Thank you so much. Okay, Bob didn't write these next 3 songs. You might not recognize it. We're gonna get tuned up. Dance all time, dance all time. start to roll up the place in a reggae show. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, welcome. Perry Jones III here. I am your host. This is the first of many Doc Talks. We've missed you guys, and as you can see, we got a whole new setup. To my left right here, guys, we got Dr. Jason Sims with THC2, the Higher Care Clinic, the Director of Medicine, giving you that professional standpoint on all types of topics there. Over here, the myth, the man, the legend. He is the Clinical Director of THC2. He is the medic for THC2, Mr. Keenan. That's what I like to do. So he is amazing. Guys, this is going to be fun. As we're in November, we're turning the table. It is getting towards the end of the year. We are here to discuss and talk openly about natural things that are happening to us and for us and around us. The topic of this one is PTSD. As we're getting closer towards Veterans Day, as we're getting closer towards situations and things, family, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of things that have happened that help to cause PTSD. We need to learn more about it, right? I mean, obviously we know the acronym, but what is more about it? Like, how do we get into understanding the beating of it, not necessarily beating, but the controlling of it, but also how to manage different things. Doc, from a professional standpoint, PTSD, like what is PTSD?
So, yeah, PTSD, it stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Used to be shell shock. They used to call it that. There's been a whole bunch of different names for it throughout the years. Just depending on, what the medical, place wants to call it, basically. Okay. So, but yeah, the current name is PTSD for, like, again, post-traumatic stress disorder, okay, usually caused by some sort of traumatic event, okay, or a series of traumatic events that happens to somebody that causes you to have anxiety, causes you to have, dreams, bad dreams, causes you to have triggers for certain things that can cause, other things to happen. So it's a mental type disorder, super common in veterans, and since Veterans Day is coming up, that's why we wanted to talk about this. Yes. Super common in veterans, especially combat veterans, because they saw, some stuff that, your mind can't like process very well. So you put it into a certain place, and then certain things, sounds, touches, smells, seeing something, it can trigger it to come right back to you like it's really happening right then. Okay. And so, and all those feelings that you're having right then, and all that anxiety and all that stress and everything else hit you all at the same time. Okay. So, and it can come on at any time, and it can come on in your sleep.
Triggers
even,
anywhere.
It can trigger at any time. So especially in sleep, because you're dreaming, you're not thinking about what you're dreaming about because you don't control that most of the time, and then all of a sudden you're dreaming that. Okay. And it might even happen. We've had several patients, I've talked to, that where they even, woke up and they were outside with their gun, with their firearm, walking around, not even realizing that's where they were because of the triggers that kind of happened with them because of it. So very serious, condition, can have lots of problems, can have lots of effects on not only the person but their family, their friends, their loved ones that can really have some major impact on there as well.
Wow, man. I mean, like, we hear about it all the time, and I think it's just one of those things that it's now become a norm, but it's not as understood. Keenan, being a medic, a little bit about your background. You're also a veteran, and so thank you for your service. And a lot of people don't know that. Can you give us a little background about where you've come from and your expertise on PTSD and some of the things that you've had to deal with and being around people?
Most definitely. I was a combat medic in the Army. I was a 68 Whiskey. I was a field medic in Afghanistan as well. During 2012, 2013, I deployed to Afghanistan. Whenever I came home, I definitely had some effects of PTSD. Okay. And I definitely had some problems. I went primarily, at that point in time, I was still in the military, so they drug tested on a regular basis. So they frowned upon marijuana usage at that point in time, but they pushed alcohol quite a bit, so I began drinking profusely in order to kind of deal with my issues at that point in time. I drank for a long time. Then once medical marijuana became available in the state of Oklahoma, I began using medical marijuana once I was able to get out of the military and figured out that I needed to help myself and I needed to be able to calm myself down. And I noticed that the medical marijuana really helped a lot as far as dealing with just the side effects of having PTSD.
Nice. Wow, man. The fact that you're self-medicating and then you figured out your own strategy, your own regimen, right? Not obviously not taking the vice of alcohol, but also not like going over into opiates, right? And
Right.
now with medical cannabis in the state of Oklahoma, and actually now in 37 states in the U.S., which is really awesome, there's alternative ways and alternative methods of handling some of those different things.
With PTSD, you begin to get anxious and you
Okay.
get angry about things. You have a lot of mixed up feelings, and you don't realize that you're revving yourself up. You don't realize the anxiety and what it's causing to you, and you don't realize that small things are able to make you angry or make you flip that switch and freak out for no apparent reason. And I think that the medical marijuana slows you down enough to make rational decisions and rational thoughts, whereas the PTSD, whenever you're angry or anxious or have those feelings behind you for no apparent reason, it allows you to channel your thoughts and slow down a little bit and take a deep breath, and allows you to calmly handle whatever that situation is instead of yelling, screaming.
Right. The aftermath.
Yeah, or having those types of issues.
And being aware of them. I guess that's literally what I was trying to get out, because I don't have that element or condition of PTSD. I have not had anything traumatic that causes the anxiousness like a lot of people around me or some of our friends and family. And so to try to understand when someone is communicating that something may be a trigger, using different forms of medicinal cannabis or other alternative methods to think properly, to process, to be able to make the conscientious decision. Doc, what else would you say, not only just medicinal cannabis, but how else can we help to mitigate, help to balance PTS triggers, or notice when someone is even having
So that's probably the toughest thing, because you don't know, a lot of times, because you don't know if the person next to you is having problems, you know what I'm saying? But the way that we've treated it before, there's all kinds of ways that we've treated PTSD. There's antipsychotics, we've treated it with antidepressants, anti-anxiety agents, we've treated it with, sleep agents, because a lot of times it's the sleep problem. The problem is a lot of those medicines, a lot of those, those things that we've used can make it worse, a lot of times, so many stories, like I was saying, with like Ambien, it's a sleep medicine. So I can't sleep. Okay, here's the Ambien. Well, then they're found, walking around with their gun outside, and they end up shooting their dog, or or I've even heard of a a wife with their husband over them choking them.
Oh, wow.
Because they didn't know, because the medicine plus the PTSD, it enhanced it. You know what I'm saying? And they had no idea what they were doing. So. But there's, so many different medicines we've tried. Like I said, a lot of them don't work. Therapy works. We do therapy for a lot of it. It does help. It helps a lot. There's all kinds of psychotherapy. Yeah, so you're talking to somebody. There's some different types of therapy that really help PTSD a little bit more than others. The names of them are out of my head right now, but I've known several people that have done some of these certain types of therapy that really help with the PTSD. And so there's several of those different things. CBD helps, a little bit, because it helps calm everything down. It calms down the anxiety, like Keenan was talking about. It helps with, helps you kind of just, relax some things, for that. With the cannabis, and the way I talk to patients about this, whenever they ask me about PTSD, I basically say, for PTSD, you want something to help you sleep. Okay, that's the number one thing. You want an indica type strain of cannabis that helps you, that puts you to sleep, because that type of sleep that you're getting with cannabis is different than other types of sleep. Okay, because you're getting that stage 4 REM sleep. You're having dreams, but you don't remember them. So you're not having those triggers. Right. Those triggers, even if they're trying to go on, they're not crossing over.
Okay. And
so the cannabis actually helps block the crossover from your conscious mind from your subconscious. It actually helps block that. So those triggers are trying to come through, but they're not making it through. Wow. Basically, is what they're kind of trying to do, and that's how cannabis can actually help with PTSD. But it's the biggest thing is sleep. Is the sleep. You have some indica type strains helping with sleep, because then because those triggers will start to decrease because you're sleeping better. because you're sleeping the right way. You're not getting those triggers at night that set you off in the middle of the night, and you're not getting those triggers in your dreams, that you're not remembering them, and that helps to kind of calm that down. But you add that to the psychotherapy, and we've seen some great results.
Okay, so it's not a
mitigating
one-all,
PTSD.
be-all. It's
Exactly.
a combination of things, and then it's an ongoing process
Right.
of things. And so being able to, number one, start with something, doing your research on the medicine that you're getting, and knowing where it's coming from, grown, all of those different things, and then actually trying it and applying it to seeing how it does work. Like you were mentioning, there's multiple stages of sleep. A lot of people don't know that. Let me rephrase that. I don't know what a lot of people know. I only know what I know, right? And so, I mean, I just learned about the multiple layers of sleep in the last, I'd say probably about 8 years now we've been in the industry for a while. And knowing that it's not just trying to go to sleep, right, with the Ambien. It's trying to stay asleep, but then it's also trying to make sure that you wake up okay, right? And so those different phases, personally, I have found that with CBD, taking it nightly like most would take a supplement or drink your water, allows me to go into a deeper realm that it's that great pass out sleep. You know, you wake up and you're just like, I had the screen on and then my eyes shut and then all of a sudden I feel good. Okay, let's go. I get a lot of that with less stressors, but it still happens naturally because we're human, right? Lack of eating or over medicating or over processing and thinking. So I think that's a pretty good idea right there, is trying those different things and seeing your local PCP, your primary care physician, definitely seeking them out, asking those types of questions, and yeah, I think that would be awesome to kind of come up with a regimen that would be able to help a person. What do you think, Keenan?
I think that's excellent. I think I love the CBD. I take the CBD first thing in the morning before I go to bed every evening, and I have to say that the indicas are definitely the best as far as, because a lot of times if you can get fantastic sleep, then you'll have less problems during the daytime. Your anxiety is usually lower if you get better sleep, so sleep is a key component in that at all times.
I think the same thing, like you were just saying. I mean, sleep is probably the most important part of everything, right? Everything really comes off of that. The lack of sleep, the lack of oxygen, all of those different things. So
the better you sleep, the better you're going to feel.
Nice, which also goes with hydration, goes with, inflammation. So those alternative methods help with those that will help to slow down the triggers for the PTSD. So that's really awesome to hear that, man. Let me ask you this. What do you have any other things to add to the summary of PTSD? We obviously have just talked about some of the triggers that can happen, right? So we can be aware, and us be aware for people that are around us, right? So when we see someone being short, being quick, being angry, like, it's not to try to categorize them, but we can sympathize and know ahead that something may be triggering, right?
And hopefully we can help them get help. You know what I'm saying? Help, because a lot of times, like even Keenan said, end up drinking, end up taking other kind of medications, opiates, methamphetamines, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So many of our veterans, commit suicide. I mean, we have a super high rate of suicide in veterans because of the PTSD, because they can't handle it.
They can't handle the triggers.
They can't handle it, and it just keeps adding to and adding to and adding to. I mean, we have, problems with spousal abuse. We have, domestic violence, that kind of stuff as well. And I think if we can start this soon enough, start the therapy, maybe even, start adding some CBD, start adding some other things to it without just, throwing some of these other medicines on there that kind of make it worse.
Think that it's
and if we can
be-all.
identify it early enough, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think we could help a lot of people get off that path.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many of our veterans that, that fall down the wrong path. They end up, like I said, committing suicide. They end up being, alcoholics. They end up being drug addicts. And then a lot of times they end up being on the streets as well. Being homeless because of some of these other things.
Yeah.
So I think if we can, get some of this stuff started early, we can kind of mitigate some of this stuff, get the education out there, and then get the help from the government, from other entities to kind of help with that. I think it would do a whole lot better for our society, truthfully.
Yeah.
So because what we're not thinking is that it's not just the combat veterans. It's
Correct.
That's a
Correct.
large part of
Correct.
it. But here in Oklahoma, if you were alive, back in 94, 95, whenever the Murrow building happened,
Yeah.
there's some stuff there.
yeah,
You have
yeah.
2001. You have the World Trade Center. You have all kinds of things happen to people
Everything
every
happens.
day.
Everything
our-
happens, yes.
We have friends that have their spouses die. Just all of a sudden because of things. Just this last week, I mean, we have
Unfortunate.
there's stuff. There's all kinds of unfortunate events that can cause some of this stuff.
Correct.
If we could get to them fast enough, I think we could mitigate a lot of stuff. And help. Those things.
That leads me to my next question, not to cut you off,
No, you're
but
fine.
while you're on that topic, from your standpoint, Keenan, from a vet standpoint, how would you, being a vet and then also being able to provide help in the way that you can now, how would you guide vets that are lost out there into getting that help that Dr. Sims is talking about? Obviously, we're looking for that first wave, but where would you say some of those resources are that can help those vets? What are your thoughts on that?
Some of your resources are definitely going to be with us at the Higher Care Clinic, where we can help guide you through all of the things that we've discussed earlier. And then also I would reach out to some sort of therapist, whether it be a private therapist of some kind, or whether it be through the Veterans Affairs. I would reach out to somebody and probably talk to someone, try and figure those things out. But we can help as far as the marijuana, the CBD experience and things like that. We can help guide those people through that process through the Higher Care Clinic.
Nice. And I also, personally, guys, because obviously that's what we're here. We're here to make this organic. We're here to be transparent and to be real. I personally also think with everything that you guys have said is that it's us, it's our family members, it's when we notice things in others, it's us being aware of our surroundings, that if you go to work, they say they spend most 70% of our time at work, right? You're spending the time with these different people, your family members. Notice things, you know what I mean? Like really pay attention to your surroundings, and maybe we can help someone in the sense of, I noticed something, not that we're doctors, I'm not a doctor by any means, but I notice when my son's behavior changes, or I notice when my behavior changes, and it's anxiety, not necessarily a trigger for PTSD, but just something happening, right? Like when we can notice that in each other, I think that's some of the great help. And I would say that and encourage that to you all as well. Everybody is affected by everyone else. We all are literally 6 degrees of separation from someone. So it's nothing new under the sun, right? Everything is happening. So I would definitely encourage you guys to not only look out for the people around you, also the vets, but help put in a place that someone can get some education. THC2, the Higher Care Clinic, is one of those locations and resources for you. Also, for the veterans, you say that there's the Veterans Affairs, and then you also have, like in Oklahoma, they have I believe it's the Coffee Bunker,
Yeah.
right? And your local VFWs also definitely want to send shout outs to those places. And this time of getting back and giving back, make sure you guys are paying attention to your vets and the people around you. You never know what someone is going through, but you also never know how you can be of service and how you can help. And so, man, I think this was a great topic to go over, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think we have some great solutions as well that will be able to help people, and some resources for that point. Veterans, again, if you need help, reach out to those local sources. If you guys have questions that you guys want answers to, we've got professionals on that can help to answer some of those. That's what we're here for. That's where the education comes from. So make sure while you guys are on, send those questions. Like, type it in the comments down below, DM us, what have you, share the info. Like, again, this is the first of many, but what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to give some of that education out there from a professional standpoint, not only just from the medicinal side, but from also a professional side, experiences. This is just real people with real issues, real solutions, solving real problems. And we're here for you all. So we appreciate you guys here at THC2, the Higher Care Clinic. Doc Talks signing out with the guys, Keenan, Dr. Sims, Perry Jones
Opposite,
III.
yeah.
I'm your host. I talk with my hands. If they were looking on screen, that looked awesome, right? It felt that way, but stay tuned for the next one. Doc Talks, we're here to help you. Again, if you have anything, send it over. We're very appreciative of you. THC2, Doc Talks, signing out, guys. Oh my gosh, guys, oh my gosh. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, happy midweek. I'm your host, Perry Jones III. Here we are at MCM, and look who we have next to me, guys. This is a treat. As you guys have been paying attention, everybody that's been brought on has been really an associate. Some of them more than associates, really friends, industry starters. And we're going to go into the history about how we've met. But guys, this is Deidre. Deidre is an industry starter. Like, I mean, she's been here since the very beginning, and actually before then in 2018. And to see her still flourishing and still in the game, consistent and running things and constantly pivoting and changing. I mean, she is a testament to what is hard in this industry. And let me tell you, she's amazing, guys. This is Deidre, the entrepreneur, the owner, the brand maker. I'm in a plethora of titles, but she is a cannabis. She's a cannabis enthusiast for sure. So, I mean, Deidre, welcome to MCM.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm like, oh, I can't believe it's been 2 years since our last video, but I'm excited to be here and do this now.
Oh my gosh, listen, so for those that don't know, if you go over to shout out THC2, check them out, THC2 YouTube, you will see a video with Deidre and myself on there, and that was about 2 years ago when we were starting to really get into the video and production and stuff. And we had a partnership. We still have this partnership, folks, that helps patients all the way around, from cancer patients to introduction, new patients, to just really people in general. And speaking of that, she does have a 2-for-1. I'm going to let her tell you about all that. No, we'll go into that later. We'll go into that later. But where were we that just had me going.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. We started and we did our first film, and like I said, if you would go over to that channel and check that out, you'll see how novice we were, right? And if you look at currently what we have right now, it's like it's such a growth moment, right?
Yes, I can remember standing in a dispensary doing this instead of in a studio. So
Right?
Come a long way.
We've come a long way.
We have.
The industry is here. Let's go back a little bit into our history, so you guys can kind of catch up and see why I'm so excited about this interview tonight. When I first started in the industry, and let me rephrase that, like, I've been in the industry, the cannabis industry, for a very long time, just multiple facets of it. But when Oklahoma had started the process of becoming legal, and we have the medical program launching, those were on the thought process of moving ahead, were in certain places, right? Getting that knowledge, expanding their thought processes, making connections, and taking risks, right? And so we have a mutual friend, me and my wife, we were on our way to Colorado to go to an expo. We were heading to an event. And at the airport, I seen this guy that I went to high school with, a good friend of mine. Shout out, you know who you are, a.k.a. Billy. And I see him, and then we just start rapping. And it's been 2018, I think that's when that was, right? So this was, I mean, we've been out of school for like almost 20 years, like 15 years, like we've been out of school. So to see him, it was like, wow. So then he's like, hey, I'm heading up to Denver too. We're on the same plane. And then Deidre's along, and then there was a couple other people that were on that plane. And what was fun is I look back at it and I reminisce like the 80s movies, you know, maybe 70s, of the high school kids where you're all together in a class or on a plane and talking is happening from the front seat to the back seat. Conversations are jumping and moving, and
Poor other passengers.
poor other passengers, right? And I mean, they knew who we were. They knew who we were. And so we get to Denver, and, you know, we go and we do the event and everything. But I had met Deidre on that plane, and we talked on the way up and everything. And to be honest, and I say this in the other story too, if you go and watch it, but to be honest, like, some of the jumpstart in the other parts of the industry, this young lady right here gave me. And so when she invited me and my wife to this event, I distinctively remember being like at the hotel, like the night before, like, man, what are we gonna do? Like, we should do something. And, you know, it's Denver, it's cold, painting the scene, you know, it wasn't all the greatest weather, but it was a fun time. And I was like, yo, let's go to this event. And
You have to tell them who you met.
so at this event, like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know where we were, right? And you can look out this window and see the stadium, the Denver Broncos Mile High Stadium. And I was like, man, where the hell are we? And as I'm sitting here, we're at the bar, and rest in peace, Frenchie Cannoli was on the stage with, you guys have already seen the videos of him, but another good friend of mine who I met at this event was Jace with Touched by Cannabis. So he was on our first one. You guys remember, go back and check it out. Who's also a good friend of mine. Like, I met him through this event. He was a host on there. They had a panel, and I was learning about hash rosin. I was learning about hash pressing. He's the hashish. I mean, he was the hashish king. A different format of producing it, really organic and natural. And then Jace, this again was 2018, and then you were there, and then this was the first time that we seen like a dab bar, right? Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, my first public dab, actually.
Truth, like, that was mine too. And it was just, it's still to this day I think about that. Like, we're in 2023, 2018, it was still like technology was still far, like, it was engaged. And so that was a unique experience we had there. And then ever since then, you know, that event really, I'd say, and I credit it to really you. Had I not met you that day and got invited to that event, I would have got the knowledge, but I wouldn't have known and got everything that was blessed upon us if we didn't take that risk. And to know where we started to where we are right now, you know, this many years in the game and still running it, I'm so stinking proud of you, and thank you so much for being bold and like reaching out and doing that invite then.
I'm actually glad that you come because, I mean, you take a chance when you invite some stranger on a plane. Hey, we got this really cool event. It's got these really cool people in the industry. And
Right.
I don't know if you know who Frenchie Cannoli is, but you have to come and see him. And, you know, we were new to the industry. We didn't know who Frenchie Cannoli was, but
Right.
my gosh, I couldn't have been more blessed to be at that event myself. So
It was definitely history in the making, and I mean, it was just, that whole weekend was just spectacular thinking about it back in the day. And it's fun because these are the times, guys, like those out there listening, watching, like, we're living our best lives right now. You know what I mean? And so to be able to keep making those experiences, speaking of, we've got another one of those experiences. I'm going to just go ahead and give this little quick commercial into it because I'm super stoked to be a part of it. And you guys are more than welcome to attend. And let me explain what's happening. On March 3rd, and we're going to end up getting a graphic. Go and watch the page. Follow us. You will see more information, I promise you. March 3rd, we are going to have, oh my gosh, the Duchess. The Duchess, I mean, she is a protege of Frenchie Cannoli. And she is amazing. And she's coming with Jules, Jules is Mrs. Touched by Cannabis, which is Jace's wife. And Jace's wife, Jules, she's a practitioner of Eastern medicine as well as a hashish like perfectionist, and she's the apprentice of the Duchess. So she's 3 generations down, 3 touches down on the style of this hash, and I believe we're going to have them on here pretty soon, so that way we can see that. But March 3rd, that's a Friday night, that night at Studio 30. I believe the time is from 7 until close, which is at 1 a.m. But she's going to be there for a meet and greet, and there's going to be just another opportunity that's actually lemon-led. This one's women-led, excuse me. And so for Jules, and then for Miss Deidre here, as well as the Duchess, like, this is a full woman-led class. And also special shout-out to Miss T. This is going to be amazing. You guys are going to see her very soon, and she's going to come on to our show. And let me tell you, we just had the pleasure of taking you there today. Custom Teas. This is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, downtown. Brand new company that just opened up. I'm going to go into more with it, but like special shout out to My Tea is the name of the company. And if you're at the class on March 3rd, you're going to actually, I think you're going to get some tea.
Yes.
I mean, I believe we'll have some leftover tea that night. I mean, Deidre's going to be following suit. She's going to be a, what did we say it was? I think it was called a cupper.
A cupper.
Or a tea tender is what Miss T calls it. I kind of like that term, a tea tender. Right, yeah, like a bud tender, tea tender, and so we'll have some of those different things that are going to be going on. Let's talk a little bit more about. We talked about the history of where I've met you, where we've started, where you've gone. Catch us up. It's been 2 years since our last video. I recently just seen you because you been grinding. You've been in the lab. We've been in the lab, and now we have an opportunity to really come back and do this catch up, which is something we spoke about. Well, catch me up. What you up to these days? Let the folks know what's going on with you.
Oh, goodness. This has been a ride. I mean, what do you say? This has been a ride. This has been a journey. And it's a journey upwards.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey of ups and downs, but all I see is up. So I'm super excited to be where I'm at.
Right.
Right now we are APCO, and we are going strong.
Nice.
Except for we are in a position to make
Level
some.
up.
Yes.
Level up.
make some decisions to make this industry and rock it in Tulsa, and we're going to see some changes, some positive changes, and
Nice.
I just can't wait. I really the excitement is just bubbling. I can't even.
It's so exciting and it's infectious. You know what I mean? For those that don't know, APCO is over there on, is it 26th?
Sixth.
That's what I thought. Okay. 26th in Sheridan in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Excuse me, the tea, it's so good. Forgive me, that was human. APCO has been around like I said, from the very beginning. They ended up taking over one of the first dispensaries locations, which was Flowercraft. And Flowercraft, shout out Flowercraft, they were one of the first in the industry, really about pediatrics and really doing classes for parents. And so shout out Flowercraft if you guys look them up or anything. Great people starting, and just like anything else, it's business, you know. It's a tough, this is not for the faint of heart, you know. And so definitely, again, shout out Flowercraft. They had started in this location, and then APCO, they expanded from OKC and put their Tulsa location in. And as soon as they did that, you signed on, and you've been on since the game started. That was not long after licenses came out also. So it's been the last 5 years now, going into our 5th year now.
APCO actually recruited me from another dispensary.
Yeah.
And then I was able to become an owner.
Right.
And
Talk
now
about a
here we are.
workup. Let's go, guys. If that doesn't get you excited, the fact that you could start somewhere as an employee and then all of a sudden your ownership. And let me tell you, that is
That's a
Not that
feat.
easy.
It is not that easy. It is not that easy. But what's good is that this industry, like you said, you find people and you like qualities and attributes. And what's great about this is I find the industry is a lot of risk takers. You know what I mean? I think that, we level up by the association that we keep. And what I do admire about the cannabis industry is that it is very much a lot of like-minded risk takers. You know what I mean? Not everybody knows how to do what they're wanting to do, but they're willing to try.
I agree.
Right.
I say risk takers. However, with that being said, if you're a risk taker in this industry, you need to educate yourself. Because
Hey.
if you can't educate yourself, you can't educate your patients. And I give us being sustainable and being in this industry and our doors not closing like you see many others.
Right.
That we actually care about our patients. That's, the patients is first and foremost. That's the number one thing when you come into our store. We want to make sure that you're appropriately medicated,
Right.
that you understand how the medication works, you understand the delivery. Any questions that you have, we tell you, please don't hesitate to ask. Come
Nice.
in. We give you a consult. There's no charges for any of this. It's just really important.
What have you seen change in the industry from your perspective as our patient count? I mean, you're obviously still in business. You're seeing a lot of patients. What would you say is one of the biggest changes you've noticed from the beginning of the industry with the patients to now?
As far as patients, I really see our patients getting more educated.
Nice.
So
Okay.
what's really cool is that I guess the biggest compliment that I could ever have is when a patient comes back in and says, I don't smoke the same. And I'm like, yes, that's just one more patient that understands the medicine, not just the THC content.
Yeah.
And it is, I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, what you were saying is that patients are becoming more educated, and over time, they're finding ways to communicate that with.
They're understanding actually terpenes. So, I mean, this is kind of where the industry is going right now, that THC is part of it, but so is every other part of the plant. That's just one minor part.
Yeah.
So actually the patients now that come into APCO, they know their terpene profiles. They understand, example, terpenoline is found in most sativas, that could give some people anxiety. So it's not considered that type of plant that gives you anxiety. It's going to be the different terpenes or combination thereof that's in that plant. So understanding those things and not steering away from a medicine that would maybe work for you just because of a name. Those are important things. The biggest one is that I love that we've educated to not be a strain seeker. Do you know what that means?
Please enlighten us.
So what a strain seeker says is they walk in and, do you have Blue Dream? I don't have Blue Dream. Oh, well, that's the only plant I smoke because that's the only plant that works for me.
Ah.
The sad thing in this industry
Singular.
is that you can name a plant, and this is truth. You can name a plant whatever you want to name it. So not every dispensary is equal. And with that
Truth.
being said, you just need to know when you're walking in that you're getting the knowledge base that you need, that you're looking for, and that you walk away with exactly what you wanted when you walked into the store, with the information that you needed.
Yeah.
We just don't understand so much of testing. I mean, let's talk about testing for a minute. Can I talk about testing?
Oh, I love this. Let's go right into it. Hold on just a second, folks. We just had this PSA. Due to an emergency, David, Mr. Senior, cannot appear tonight. And so our thoughts and encouragement, prayers go out to David. Hope all is well. Life happens, guys. I mean, that happens to us all. So we're wishing him and his family all the best, and we'll keep you guys updated for our next event. So we'll definitely send shout outs to him and his family. But definitely,
Yeah, that's what we got for that. So that's good for us because that's going to, excuse me, I don't mean to say it like that. It's not good for us. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is that as you were wanting to talk about testing, that's really awesome that we can actually dive into some different things that you get from your perspective and what you're seeing. And I bet a lot of people want to know that as the industry is starting to mature more, right? Testing is starting to become, I mean, it's always been a topic, you know what I mean? And it's starting to refine itself, and we're able to have a set standard, more or less. Well, let me rephrase it. I think maybe we know what to look for now, right? We're being more educated to see what is out there, what you can relate to, how you can look stuff up. Let's go into it. Talk to me about it. What do you got?
So, testing isn't 100% accurate and or precise.
Never is.
So there are
It's a curve for sure, and
Yes,
most people don't recognize
huge
that
curves.
you have curves on things, And this is what's funny. My partner, Dr. Sims, shout out Dr. Sims, THC2. He's taught me this about certain things, right? As we were making our own CBD, he formulates that for us. He was like, "Yo, this is what happens. Everybody has a curve. Like any industry, any testing, everything that happens under the sun, there's a curvature for it because you don't know all of the different end components. You know what I mean? Whether it was the air when testing, the weight, like all types of just different things that can
even
be
after
in it.
testing. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, you have testing, and that's great. That's what the plant is at that moment.
Right,
Not
right.
100%, but it's a test, so it's going to stray a little bit. But with that being said, even after testing, the testing could be quality at that point, but there's a shelf life. And let's say the grower can't sell that flower. They've sat on it a minute. They still sell it. It's still
Oh yeah,
there.
I mean it's. I feel like that's what's happening now. It's starting to again refine itself. Like I tell my team, we've never been here.
Yeah.
The industry in Oklahoma has never been where it is right now, and so it's starting to mature and create its own lane, right? And you're getting a lot of patients. I just seen something that said we have like over 400,000 patients, I believe, at the moment right now, which is an amazing number. And that is just the beginning because, remember, every day, every month, every year, we've got new people coming on, moving into the state, people having children, like all types of things happening.
Yeah, well, we also have out-of-state patients.
And
So,
that too.
that's an important factor, too. I have patients that come in once a month from out-of-state that get their monthly meds and take them back home. So we're not just helping our patients within our state. We're actually helping the surrounding states that either they just don't have the tools to understand what they need, or they just don't have the cannabis plant in their state at all. So
Shout out OMMA, and actually the state of Oklahoma, when we went and voted this in, and the fact that we have that temporary license for patients as well to take advantage of. We forget, I believe, at times that we're one of the largest opiate states, and recovering, and we're still recovering,
We
right?
still are.
And so to know about the variety of products and modalities that we offer here, nothing's new under the sun. People still travel for health. They go to different specialists in different places, and that's literally what's happening right now in Oklahoma, right? And
Yep.
so that's testing. Tell me this: are you guys you fully integrated in your dispensary? Like, do you guys have your own products, or are we going to that? Is that a goal of yours? Like, can you tell us a little bit about like what you believe in products for the patients?
So we as a company is growing, expanding, and that will be revealed, but we're just not ready to reveal that yet. So that's going to come down the line.
Nice.
But as for products for the patients, absolutely. We want to make sure that we have the most clean products that are on the market. making sure that we know what is put into the patient's hands. We know how it's made. We've been to the processing plants. We've talked to the processors. We understand how they've made it. Because let's be honest, guys, this is a new industry, and anything new, we're back to it's a learning curve. So getting the information from the correct sources is so much important. Like literally, if we're learning within the state without out-of-state resources that have been doing it for 10 years or 15 or 20,
however much longer than was.
Then we're really not grasping the education that we need. And my background is education, so I don't know how to do anything without educating myself first. So I can't educate you unless I've educated myself. And I'm a patient, so I went through knee surgery. I don't know if you knew this. I went through a really bad knee surgery, and it was pretty extensive, and I chose not to do pain pills.
Get out of here.
And literally, the doctor's like, I think you should just take them just in case. Just in case. And I'm like, I'm not going to use these pain pills. Like, there's no reason to get them just in case. And so I used RSO.
Hey.
No pain medicine. I believe in the product.
You just tapped on something that I was wondering about from a dispensary owner standpoint, right? And that kind of goes into the first question of being fully integrated or knowing about products to patients. Well, how do you, as a dispensary, look for quality products through all the vendors that come through there? How do you weed out those and think who is best for the patients that you're dealing with? Because I've always wondered, like, you're dealing with a multitude of processors and growers, and, like, you've got to go, okay, I know.
Questions.
Okay.
Knowing the products, knowing the processes, learning how they're made, and knowing what questions to ask is the only way that you're going to actually understand the correct products that you're getting. So, if I am not able to do the questionnaire myself, I literally will have one of my staff members. It's a form.
Oh, questionnaire. I like it.
It's a form. So we're getting the same information every single time we come in. It's super important.
SOP.
For me. Yes.
I like that. SOP. Got to have that. So that way, the streamlines the way you get to things. That's awesome. Let me ask you this, because we always do this for all of our guests on here, right? What is your preferred method of medicating? Mine, personally, I like flower. I go into concentrates occasionally, but I'm still an old school bud structure, smelling, breakdown process. I enjoy the flower myself. What about yourself?
So I was always a flower child, and I really thought I would always be a flower child.
Yeah? What does that mean?
I'm a hash snob.
Yay! And listen, quality great hash. Let me rephrase it. Just quality great hash it's a whole nother game. And there's a lot of people out here doing it right now, saying they have hash. Educate
it's not
yourself.
All the same.
You just got to educate yourself. I'm telling you, this class on March 4th, though, the party, that's where you're going to want to be and to meet the person who really makes it. But if you can't, definitely follow, check out again. Shout out to Mrs. Touched by Cannabis, Jules, and Touched by Cannabis, because they'll show you what's up. So, that's a good thing right there. Hash, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
So
tell me.
So hash is even though it's a concentrated product,
yes,
the high is not the same as other concentrates.
No.
So a hash is more of a body high, and it literally makes your whole body feel good. I have shoulder injuries. I've told them I'm healed, so I am. I've had shoulder injury, knee, feet. Literally all on my right side of the body. Hash will make me melt in a good way, that my body just feels good.
I have to say the same. I think it's just not accessible enough, and it's starting to become. It is starting to become, and that's the difference. It's kind of similar to some of the other products that have been out at the moment, and it's starting to change. And so, things are happening. Things are happening. We don't really talk a lot of politics out here, you know what I mean? That's not something that we really get into. We really just go with whatever is about to be thrown at us, you know, because that's all you can do is work within what you have,
Yeah.
right? And so just a brief take, like, what you seeing out there on what's being talked about in Oklahoma, guys? I mean, we can't be the Oklahoma and be in a current event and not catch people up on current events, right? You know, we know in less than 30 days there'll be a vote of the people, right? Talking about, you know, thinking they want to pass or not pass adult use, adult recreation in the state of Oklahoma. And so, you know, what you seeing out there? What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I could see it going either way. I'm going to leave my opinion to myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the politics here, but it could really go either way. I mean, I see patients that are all for it. I see the industry people that are divided. That's kind of blown me away a little bit. I was really surprised how divided the industry was for that.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely people read your stuff out there. That's really what that's about, right? Like, I mean, there's no politics talk here, really. I don't ever really like talking about politics by any means. But I know for patients wanting to know, because they may come to the dispensary to get more questions and education. You know what I mean?
one-on-one, I would be glad to talk with anyone.
There
If
you
you
go.
want, if you want my knowledge and my information,
There you go.
I'm here for you.
There
This,
you
this
go.
is what we do. Literally, the reason I'm in this industry is because my mom passed away of leukemia, and if I can actually do this without crying. Can you believe that?
See, and we didn't even get to that. I told you we're doing all of those questions, and I
Sorry.
didn't even get to that question. And it's okay, because you know what? Everybody has a why, right? We all have a why, and more than not, it's because of someone, right? We're all affected by someone that we've loved, or that was close, or that we cherished, or all of those different adjectives that you can use to describe it. But we all have a why.
Yes.
You
So,
know.
so that's important to
Yeah.
me. So I treat everyone as if they were my mom.
Okay.
When you walk through my door, you're a patient just like my mom was. And that's so important to me.
Yeah.
And making sure that you have affordable medicine, you have the right medicine, and you have the knowledge. And you can have all my time you want. Like literally, that is, I thrive on making sure that patients know what they need to know. That's so important to me. Like that's
such
why
a-
I do what I do.
That's what, when I go back to saying a lot of like-minded individuals in the industry, right? Like
We migrate together.
We migrate, you know, and I mean, we've been on that same mission, that same passion, that same mission for the longest, right? Even before I was the plant and recognized this
Yes.
was the source of it, right? We've been caring and compassionate for that long, and so that speaks volumes about you. It speaks volumes about why you're still in business and what you're doing like that, because your compassion it's showing, and you know, and
And
that's
I'm blessed.
amazing. Come on now. Speak it, girl. Let's go. Like, you know it. You damn right you are.
I am
You're
blessed.
damn right you are.
I'm blessed every day. I'm blessed by a staff that's amazing, that is wanting to learn, that we talk terps. Like, we're
Hey.
terp nerds. So we're all about it.
Oh, I love all of that. I love all of that. Guys, again, check everything out. If you guys have topics that you guys would like to talk about or to hear about, if you have guests that you would like to listen to, if you have brands that you'd like to have reviews on, like, leave that in the comments. Let us know. Reach out to us. We love having people that we don't know. We only know who we know. That's really what it is. And so if there's things that you guys would like to talk about, hear about, see, like, please let us know down here. We're open to bringing all types of people on. We're trying to, let me rephrase it, we are doing what we're doing. We're exposing and expanding this industry in multiple ways, in education and information. That's the way. That's what you're here for. That's what we're doing this for. So definitely do that, guys. Another, just in life, as you know, like life happens for us all, right? And so while we lost the guest, our main guest for this evening, and we were able to pivot, you know how shows go and life goes, and we've got Deidre so blessed, like you just mentioned, that you're able to even be here on this night at this time, and we thank you so much for your time. We also Luke Fox, you know, he is also out for this evening. So that's why you're not seeing him right now, but he's all right, though. And so next week he's going to be back, too. So shout out to Luke. We wait till you come back, too, bub. So, guys, just, you know, stay tuned. This is a great time. We appreciate everybody that tunes into the show. I'm excited to find out about some different new products getting ready to come out, and we're going to let you guys know some of those things. So, Deidre, what do you see happening in the future? You've been in now 4 or 5 years. Like, you're changing, you just said. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in the industry? You're an owner now.
Oh, goodness. Actually, to be really honest, I'm ready to release the reins in the ownership department, and I want to get on the circuit and start just educating.
Okay.
Like, that's my passion. I mean, my passion is education. So as soon as I can get the store in a position where it can run by itself, then you're going to see me more out in the educational circuit. So
Ooh, I'm
that's
excited about that.
so important to me. Like, I don't know. Education is.
It heals.
It does heal.
Once you know, then you can make the decision best for yourself. But if you don't know, others are making those decisions.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. Wow. Yep. Truth. Super truth. Super truth. Golly. Oh, I'm just so blessed to have you here tonight. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
For sure. For sure. Well, listen.
And shout out
Go ahead.
to THC2.
Whoa, what?
Just gonna say, I got my medical card renewed yesterday. Thank you.
Look, that's a little shameless plug there. I'll take it. Shout out THC2 for those patients in Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi. If you're needing a license, if you're needing a renewal, like she had made mention, we have out-of-state patients that come in, and they look to see where to go to try medicine and best places. And so, like I said, education is where it is. ABCO is one of our partners. We really believe in what you guys do. We thank you guys for what you're doing for our patients. And again, if y'all need licenses and stuff, definitely check that site out, www.thc2.com. Make sure you get licensed up if you need it. You know what I mean? So, yes. I appreciate that little shout out
Hey,
right
we got to
there,
look
girl.
out for one another.
Watch out, girl. Watch out, girl. So, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I know my guys got you hooked up with some fancy new stuff right now. And then I will see you guys here. Mañana. Hold on, was that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nah, that's not what I meant to say. Sorry. Fancy, you know, I'll just speak it real. I'm going to catch you in a minute. All right? Thank you, guys. You're so amazing.
I'm like over here like fidgeting. Then I'm like,